Hey guys, the Jace Man here with my brother Buddy of Two Fight Fans. Don't know how much we're going to agree today. If it's like usual, it won't be a lot. Having said that, I wanted to take this opportunity first of all to go ahead and respond to Brent. I believe it was Brent Wing. Maybe it's Brent Wing, but I think it was Brent. In any event, we were talking on Facebook, actually on the UFC channel through Facebook, how we were talking about The Ultimate Fighter 14, Episode 5. Big controversial topic right now, right? About Corrasani and whether he tapped, whether he didn't tap, he tapped, or anything like that. But Brent was going off on why Dana should, fire Herb Dean, and why he needs at least needs to own up and take responsibility for Herb, and it's his referee. And so I responded to let him know, first of all. And to those of you who aren't in the know, just a little information here for you. Background, this is Brent and me have already had this conversation, just expanding on it. And I'm rambling way too much. In any event, for those of you who don't know, the UFC does not employ any referees, and they do not employ any judges. Those positions are contracted out by each state's athletic commission. So Uncle Dana isn't really to blame for Herb's decision, nor can he punish Herb or penalize him in any way. He can't fire him. It's not his referee. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. So in any event, now, having said that, Brent was like, well, at least don't you think Dana should come out and admit how wrong he was, or how wrong the decision was, and that he's upset like the rest of us. And I can understand that. I really can. I'm not going to disagree with Brent, but I wanted to play devil's advocate and say that I can understand Dana not doing that. I mean, normally I won't defend Dana very much. As a matter of fact, this is the guy that will defend Dana a lot more than I will. Like I said, we disagree a lot, and usually it's about Dana White. I come down on the side where I'm pretty not friendly to Dana, and he's backing Dana up left and right. So this is kind of uncharacteristic for me, but just to say I can play devil's advocate, and I can understand where Dana's at. He's in a very touchy situation here with this Season 14 thing. First of all, the fact of the matter is he cannot do anything about the decision. The decision is the decision. It's an official win for Corrasani over Neace. Whether you like it or not, and I don't, whether you think that Corrasani tapped or he didn't, and he tapped, it doesn't change the fact that Dana can't do anything about it. And so we first have to accept that and realize that. When you take that into the equation, the fact of the matter is the season's going to carry on. The show's going to carry on. And there's not a lot that Dana could do. I mean, look, what's he supposed to do? Tell Corrasani that even though he got the official win, that he's eliminated from the Ultimate Fighter? Well, that's going to set up some bad stuff, wouldn't you agree? I mean, it's going to teach fighters that they shouldn't respect referees or listen to them when they're in the cage. It's going to give a guy who had an official loss on his record, Neace, even though I think that he won the fight via tap, a guy who scored the official loss, he's going to be promoted and go on. That's kind of strange. Or you send Corrasani and you tell him he's eliminated, well, then you've also got morale problems in the house. There's already going to be morale because people are going to know that he tapped. But that's one issue. At least the fight was scored the way it was. But you start telling people that they're off the show in spite of winning, well, then it's going to make the fighters, why are we here? Why are we even in the tournament? The tournament doesn't mean anything because I can go out there and earn a victory in the cage, and Dana can pluck and choose who he wants to go on, and I'm out. And so that wouldn't work very well. And even though Neace won, you can't really send him on if you send Corrasani on too, because he should have won. First of all, not only did he get the loss, but if they promote him on, now you've got uneven brackets, an odd number of fighters in there. Neace, he sustained damage, took up a pretty good beating in round 2, a round they shouldn't even been in. So even if you let the guy move on, he's still handicapped because he took damage in a fight that he shouldn't even been in, or a round he shouldn't even been in. So that all comes into play. And then on top of that, you've got these fighters who are going out there trying to win a show, and Dana has to give the winner at the end a 6-figure contract. Now, if he comes out there and says, as Brett suggests, comes down and says, hey, this decision was wrong and we should have been there, Well, it sets us up not to really want to tune in episode 6 because now the tournament's broke. Doesn't really matter who wins at this point because the guys should be in there. Or what's he supposed to really do? Let's say Corrasani goes on and wins this thing. Don't suspect that's going to happen. Don't think it will happen. But let's say he does. Well, what's Dana supposed to do at the Ultimate Fighter finale? Go out there and hand him his little crystal plaque, shake his hand, and be like, "Congratulations, punk. You shouldn't even be here. Oh, by the way, here's that check I don't want to sign to you, but I have to because it's law." He can't do that. I mean, he has to hype everybody who carries on into the rounds, or he's shooting his business in the foot. Whether we believe that the guy should be there or not, he has to believe that the guy should be there to try to make us believe it. If he starts throwing the guy under the bus, he's not marketable. He's not promotable. Right, bud?
I agree with that.
I'm going to turn it over to you for a minute.
Okay. I'd like to touch up on a couple things that he's already talked to you about. Like, for one, it's actually something that we do disagree on. He thinks he only tapped once. I believe he tapped twice. There was the initial tap, and then one with this controversial between me and him is when he tapped up on his high thigh, he thinks he was trying to pull his hand back. I think he was tapping again. While a controversial 2 taps, and heard Dean missing that. I mean, yeah, he dropped the ball on that, but he is a pretty good ref. Usually he doesn't make those kind of mistakes. But the fact is that Neace actually did let it go, and he shouldn't have. Ref doesn't stop it. All fighters do know, hey, the ref's not stopping it. I'm supposed to continue doing my job. That is their job. Their job is to win, to beat the other opponent by via knockout, via tap. They don't like to by points, but hey, that they do know that does happen. And then at the same time, knowing that he tapped, he told his corner that, hey, he tapped. And you didn't really see him going for any submissions in the second round. He was just taking the beating on the ground. I think it's because, he was thinking, okay, if I do submit him, what's going to happen? And, is the ref going to stop it this time? And, that might have been in the back of his mind and affected the second round, too, him just taking such a beating. Turn it back over to you, Jace.
All right. I'll bring this thing to a close as far as the Ultimate Fighter goes. We're probably going to do another episode pretty shortly. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. But as far as this controversy goes, the last comment I want to make is that we can't really fault, I'm going to repeat myself, but we can't really fault Dana for this. There's a lot of stuff to fault Dana for, but not this.
Not really.
As a matter of fact, the one thing I think that you could fault Dana for, if anything in this whole thing, is, he likes to come out and say that he'll tell you like it is. He loves to tell the members of the media and stuff, these press conferences and these interviews, that he'll tell you like it is. And if a fight sucks, he'll be the first to tell you it sucks. He'll be straight up with you. I think that's bogus, and I think you have to recognize the fact that that's bogus, but I also understand why it's bogus. He is a fight promoter. He is a businessman. He has a business to run. I get that. But my problem with it is that, he has fined guys in the past for not releasing a hold. Like Pal Harris, and there's been other guys that he's fined, but some of these guys have been fined even before the ref reached in to stop it. Sometimes we have seen fighters hold on a submission, either a joint lock or a choke, after the refs tried to stop it, like Sabral. We've seen fighters just ignore that and hold too long. And sometimes they get punished, sometimes they don't. But my issue with that is what we do see is there is something called the court of public opinion. And this puts fighters in a bad situation because we sit here and we hear people even right now who are siding with Corrasani, not because they like the guy, not because they think he didn't tap, but they're basically going, well, if he did, Neace has got no one to blame but himself because he shouldn't release the hold until the ref stops it. Well, that is the letter of the law. But you also see fighters who have followed the letter of the law and held on to a submission while a lazy ref or a somewhat unzealous referee failed to recognize a tap or failed to recognize a fighter's passed out or gone limp, and they hold it, and then you hear people in the court of public opinion bashing that fighter. Well, why didn't he release it? It doesn't matter that the ref didn't stop it. He knew that the guy was hurt, or he knew that there was serious injury coming, and so it just kind of seems unfair to the fighter to me. I mean, damned if you do, damned if you don't, right, bud?
Yeah, I agree with that. But at the same time, look at GSP's fight with Hardy. he had that. What was it? Armbar or Kimura?
Kimura.
Kimura on him, and it wasn't deep, and he had it on there for a while and didn't let go. Because the guy wasn't tapping. He just kept tweaking, and the guy wouldn't tap. And eventually, he did let it go. Probably afraid to go ahead and injure the guy. But still, ref didn't stop in, and he didn't tap. So, he did keep it on, for as long as he thought it was necessary.
Well, bottom line is, I just think that if you're going to bash a fighter for holding a submission too long without the referee interference, or even with referee interference, if you're going to do that, if you're going to reserve the right to badmouth a fighter for being aggressive and holding a submission, then you lose the right to tell him that he needs to hold on to it until the referee steps in. You have to choose one or the other. You can't play both sides of the fence. That's my bottom line. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right, we're going to call it quits to this video. It went way longer than we anticipated. So, see ya.